Alright guys, we have another thing that YouTube did, and I'm just gonna immediately throw out my opinion, which is YouTube obviously has some secondary method to put this out. Like, they're doing this because it's, everyone else is doing it, so they want to kind of be under the radar when they do it. While you see Visa and MasterCard being completely and utterly wrecked right now from yesterday, having a billion people call them, making sure that they lose money and do not get any rest. This is my sneaking suspicion. They're not gonna use this to protect children. They're gonna use this as a secondary means to try and get more people to buy YouTube Premium. I'm 100% sure this is their number one goal. Censorship is probably secondary compared to this, but their number one goal is probably going to be YouTube Premium. I'm 100% sure. It's so everyone can buy it so that they can make a little extra money off your hard-earned dollars.
Lock your doors and hide under
Yep.
your bed all you want. It won't protect you from a menace on the loose, a maniac at large that not even SpongeBob could catch. Mass surveillance, control, and censorship. It's now at our doorstep here.
Yep. Just so you guys know, here's at least the entire timeline so far. First, the UK implements the Children's Safety Act. Then a bunch of moms get Steam to basically get rid of a bunch of adult and horror games altogether. Then later, Visa and MasterCard, kind of use that to enforce censorship on another company. Then later, the European Union wants to make sure you have facial IDs everywhere in order for children to, not be caught on the internet or see things that they don't want. And now here is YouTube sliding under the rug because everyone else already did it, so they don't see a point for them not to do it either on this thing too. And here we go.
A place many have called home. YouTube. They've just announced they're rolling out AI in the...
Yep, here you go. To detect if users are actually under 18. And I think this shit is, I'm just gonna straight up say it, it's trash. This is something the parents should be doing themselves. Because, think about this. Kids do not have phone numbers. Like, kids literally do not have phone numbers. Only parents have phone numbers. So if a kid is using a YouTube account, most likely they're using their parents' account. Like, there are some other methods that can be used, but that's only if the kid isn't a total dumbass. And to be honest, what do? They watch Cocomelon all day and use AI all day to do their homework. I don't really think they're smart enough to know, like, other means, but let me tell you the truth about this. Like, there's a lot of people who obviously use accounts over 18 when they're not, but that's a parenting problem. And I'm getting sick and tired of all these companies trying to take responsibility for your children. Because at this point, if they should also take responsibility for when a child does anything like... Because at this point, if they're going to take accountability for people's children for every little thing they do online, they might as well take accountability when kids are acting up and crying to also spank them for the parents as well. That's my opinion. If you're going to do that, you have to go the extra mile and basically be the parent of the children. If you want to go that far.
US to detect if users are actually under 18, ignoring whatever the account's stated age is, and will apply restrictions to users it suspects are teens. And if it suspects that you are not over 18...
And that term is very vague. Because what do you mean teen? If you mean like people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or watch Pokemon, or watch SpongeBob, like, there's a high likelihood that a lot of them are not even kids anymore, because what used to be kids content was, like, that stuff was, like, pretty much 10, 15, 20 years ago. All of them are grown-ass men and women at this point, probably still watching the same shows, probably still loving it. So are you gonna ban them as well for potentially being kids, even though they probably just grew up on it?
People are crazy.
It will restrict what you have access to, and the only
Yep.
way to overturn that is by providing identification.
Yep. And this is the almighty hammer that every company is now using against you. But my suspect is YouTube's not doing it specifically for IDs. It has to be related to money. Because YouTube has been throwing out YouTube Premium like stuff basically at your mouth every single day until you buy it. If you don't buy it, they're going to keep throwing it at you until eventually you can't do anything anymore. But yeah, that's the main thing they're going to do. I'm 100% certain it's based off of that.
That sounds awfully familiar. Does that ring any bells to anyone out there, with what's going on over in the UK at the moment? I would
Yep.
certainly hope so. If it doesn't, go give your doctor a huge pat on the ass and tell him that the lobotomy was very successful because you have lost all fucking brain function. It's
Yep.
now US citizens' turn to have the piss sucked from their balls here and all privacy completely thrown in the shitter.
Remember, it's only freedom of speech and freedom of expression as long as nothing gets enforced on these companies to keep them from impeding your basically freedoms. Like companies are happily willing to do this because a lot of them have super huge control of huge markets to the point where if you don't use their products, you actually might have a disadvantage at this point. Because think about it. Apple, their entire thing is based off of you being in their ecosystem. Once you leave it and you join like Android or something else, you're going to have to take your time doing 90 different things all to have the same ecosystem, but in a more convoluted, complex way of doing it. Just so you know, I'm an Android user, so I'm not shitting on you guys. I'm just saying that, Apple's ecosystem is closed. Samsung is doing something like that with their ecosystem.
So, if YouTube's AI tools think that you're under 18, I hope you're ready to fork over your ID in order to continue to access.
Yep, and that's the thing. Anonymity is dead. They want your ID. But more importantly, they want your money.
Certain YouTube content and features. When YouTube determines a user is teen or preteen, the site will disable personalized advertising, activate digital well-being features, and put stricter content filters as well as behavioral restrictions into place.
Wait, behavioral restrictions? Holy shit. So that definitely is related to having certain political opinions or maybe certain beliefs that they don't agree with. They're going to censor you because, to be honest, all these people think you live in California, so they want to implement California on pretty much everyone else.
Basically, YouTube will pop its titty into your mouth and breastfeed you here because your parents aren't fucking raising you. What a joyful, pleasant future where these greasy, greedy, ghoulish corporations are now going to be LARPing as your parental figures, deciding what you can and cannot access based on their estimation of your age. Because no longer are parents even expected to be parents anymore. The internet is now that. My papa is a fucking YouTube algorithm. It tells me what I can watch, what I'm allowed to consume. It's so fucking infuriating.
Yep.
The only thing here that makes any level of sense is like disabling personalized ads for kids.
Yeah, personalized ads for kids. That sounds like a predatory way to basically force them to buy toys or have things that their parents basically buy them.
Which is something I'm pretty sure the YouTube Kids app already does. Which, again, I don't even know why that app exists anymore with...
Yeah, because that's the point. If you're implementing this on YouTube as a whole in general, like, you should be doing this in YouTube Kids. All right, here we go.
With this change going into effect, it's now just a redundancy if they're going to polymorph the main YouTube platform into basically catering to kids on it as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how are you retarded enough as a parent to be like, YouTube Kids, let's put my kid on YouTube. Oh, actually, I made a bad decision. YouTube should also be catered specifically to kids and have Cocomelon running wild everywhere. And basically raising adults that way because everyone needs kids content. Like, come on. I'm getting real sick of all these annoying Karens just literally taking over everything. And they're succeeding too. That's the worst part.
Fucking lunacy. It is not YouTube's responsibility to put the bumpers up in the bowling lane.
Yep.
That the onus should be on the parents to ensure that their kids are not consuming harmful content on YouTube. It is crazy that YouTube is doing this. So they're using AI, which will assess a user's age via multiple behavioral factors, including what kind of videos the user searches for.
Yeah, and that's a bad part because hell, as I said before, there are some adults who love SpongeBob and still to this day watch SpongeBob videos. Like hell, this guy by himself, like hell, Moist Critical made another SpongeBob reference in this video.
A maniac at large that
Yep.
not even SpongeBob could catch.
I'm pretty sure he's at least watched it again because the last few videos he's been talking about it a bit. Like, what is that going to be taken as a child behavior? Is watching Bluey going to be taken as, oh, this guy is definitely a kid? Like, you can't just take all that stuff and basically enforce YouTube kids on everybody just because you think the thing is for kids. Like, what about video games such as Lego games? Like, a lot of adults still play Lego games because they grew up with them. Are you gonna take them all as basically children because of that? Like, you can't do that anymore because a lot of these things people haven't really grown out of. And to be honest, they don't really want to. Because what's the point of giving something up that you love if it's not gonna improve your life by getting rid of it? But yeah, let's keep going.
Categories of videos they watch and how long the account has been active per its blog post, which is very vague and also going to lead to so many.
Oh yeah, that's an extremely vague thing. Like what time do you mean exactly? And what do you mean by fucking blog post? Like what is this? 2005 blog post? Ew. Anyways, that's the worst part. It's like how long the account has been active. They're gonna take accounts that have been on this site since the beginning if they say something they don't like, and YouTube basically won't care. They know exactly what they're doing.
Accounts getting flagged as being under 18 that definitely are not. There are so many people in the Pokemon community, for example, that are adults. In fact, pretty much everybody that does Pokemon content online is like late 20s and early 30s at this point. That is.
Yeah, not only that, but every time you see two people fighting at a store for Pokemon cards, 99% of the time it's two grown ass men fighting over who can get the new limited edition Pokemon set that's only out for 40 packs, just to resell them on eBay for 50 times the price.
Like entirely an adult market, but it is a child's IP. Like it is an IP that is catering towards kids. So pretty much anyone that searches for like Pokemon cards, Pokemon Showdown, really anything even adjacent to that, or like Nintendo games.
Like at this point, if you don't search up politics in your main account, you're probably going to be banned just because you are a child, as they think only adults watch politics and that's all they do all their lives. They watch that and then they die. The end.
Games like any gamers that play Nintendo games, all of those will be like a strike against them that could end with their account being deemed like under 18 or something. It's going to be absolute chaos, I imagine. This technology will allow us to infer a user's age and then use that signal regardless of the birthday in the account to deliver our age-appropriate product experiences and protections.
Yep, and by age appropriate, they just mean Karens want basically a bunch of people to watch stupid stuff all because they specified it. Like YouTube has always been a site with multiple dramas in the past that, to be honest, they barely did anything to make people feel as if the platform is going into a better direction. And this is another big one too. Like YouTube always had censorship, but not to the level of a lot of these other platforms. But now this may be the one that changes it to where a lot of other platforms now may have less censorship than YouTube. And this is absolutely terrible, abhorrent.
If the AI estimation is incorrect, YouTube says it will allow a user to verify their age with a credit card.
Yep. Wait, and you see how the first thing they put there is a credit card? This is my guess. My guess is they're going to make it very easy to put in a credit card or debit card immediately as your first form of ID and make the government ID or selfie part far harder than it is to get to them, so you could use that instead. I'm 100% certain the main reason they're pulling this out is to sell things to people. I'm 100% without a shadow of a doubt certain Like, this is obvious because of all the YouTube premium ads that they've been throwing people out to buy stuff, and all the stuff that they do related to people blocking ads. Like, your Google, you let apps on your own Play Store allow you to block ads because apparently you want money from that. But then when they block ads on YouTube, now you're mad, so you want to stop them blocking ads, but you're the one who let them download it in the first place because you have it in your Play Store. Like, they want the money from both markets without any of the downside of both markets, and this is another example. They're just gonna use it for money 100%. That's their main goal.
A government ID or a selfie. Wow, what saints? You get the privilege of providing your identification or your
Yep.
biometric data to YouTube in order to prove that you are actually over 18. Surely that's going to be like really secure and it's not going to be used for any kind of like tracking or anything like that. Don't be ridiculous. Fucking tinfoil condom conspiracy theorist. There's nothing
Yep.
wrong with forking over all of your identification and your credit card information to corporations or the government directly so that way they can actively monitor you and censor you and basically control what you have access to. What's the big deal? It's so
Yeah.
absurd, man. I cannot believe how quickly this is getting out of control. Like I told you, it was not exclusive to just the UK. It is already touched down here, and it hasn't even been a week.
Yeah. Things like this have been running rampant pretty much for years on end. It's just they were always done on a smaller scale to the point where a lot of people didn't really, mind or even notice a lot of their personal freedoms being taken away. But now that things have escalated to such a high and unreasonable degree, more people are on edge and realize that they were planning this all along. They were giving us small implementations of it until now. And now they want to basically put us in a chokehold saying, if you don't do this, I'm basically gonna make sure everything you ever uses the same thing. Therefore, you have no choice because everything is under the same standard. Therefore, you're forced to adapt to a market that now wants your ID, your credit card, your everything as a way to basically control you and spoon feed you exactly what they want to without caring about the consumer at all. They basically want to chokehold the consumer to buy everything that they have and never expect any of the repercussions of doing it as well.
Hasn't even been a week. That snowball has already become a full fucking shitstorm avalanche. It is terrible. It's scary. It's very scary. This
Mm-hmm.
article also mentions something else. The rollout of the new feature comes one day after Australia's government
Yep.
announced it would ban children under 16 from using YouTube and less than a week.
Ban children from using YouTube. Damn. I didn't know they did that. Damn. Excluding children under 16 from using YouTube. I'm just gonna say it. Those kids already probably found a way to use YouTube unrelated to that. Like come on, kids are there's a lot of kids that are pretty smart and can find ways around things like that pretty easily.
After UK implemented the sweeping age checks on content on social media
Mm-hmm.
networks, YouTube was promised an exemption from Australia's social media ban last year by the then communications minister, but the Australian government said on Monday that the platform would in fact be included in the country's ban on children under 16 using social networks. The ban is slated to take effect in December. Google, YouTube's parent company, strenuously advocated against the Australian ban and
Mm-hmm.
has threatened to sue to overturn it. That subject they mentioned there about the Australian government banning kids from making social media accounts is a topic that I briefly touched on like a year ago. But in a nutshell, this is something I've said a lot. The entire landscape of social media has changed so much over the last like decade,
Mm-hmm.
like drastically, where I do think it is downright dangerous and detrimental for kids to just have unlimited access to things like Twitter.
Yeah. Here's my opinion. That should be left up to the parent whether they do or do not want their kid on those platforms. Like, those platforms don't have a job to enforce it unless they specifically say that their platform is for children under a certain age. But if they say their platform is for teens or above, to be honest, that's when things get a little bit muggy and they shouldn't really enforce too much on it without the parents' hand in basically saying what they do or do not want them to see.
For example. So, like, I do think that it's not exactly a good thing to just have kids making social media accounts and just fucking rotting away on them. I do think that that is harmful, but there is no way of actually stopping that in a way that doesn't step on everyone's freedoms. And it,
Yep, and that's the thing. These people are not libertarians. They're basically, hey, you have to do what I say, and if you don't, well, fuck you. You have no choice.
at the time, it just didn't even really dawn on me because the way it was being spoken about was just like, oh, don't worry, the methods we're coming up with are, we're making sure privacy is still top of mind. We don't want to encroach on that. We're just trying to think of ways to.
No, 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 no. You're talking about Google, the company that happily sells your user data to every company that pays a single dollar for it. Like, come on, you're talking about that company? Like, Google happily sells people's data just because someone gives them a little bit of money and a reason to basically take the money from them. Like, they don't care. They'll happily sell it to credit unions, they'll happily sell it to car companies, they'll happily sell it to insurance companies. If you're looking up a topic, YouTube specifically will find an ad that specifically would have you most likely actually buy the product. Tailor made for whatever activity you're doing, and they're going to happily sell that information to other companies. You're talking about that Google. Like, that's who they are, and that's who they always have been, which is your personal freedom has never been first priority. It's maybe bottom 100 priorities. Maybe there. And that's being generous.
Help kids not get like sucked into social media degeneracy and all of that. And like when you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, I guess that like makes sense. But when you really stop to think about it and you stop and like really fucking smell it, it's very clear that there's no way of doing that without just stripping freedoms from everybody else. Like, how the fuck are you possibly going to stop that from happening?
And the simple answer is you make a separate application for kids and do lots of censorship on that one while leaving the main platform that's mainly for young adults and pretty much everybody else out of that crossfire, because these are people you shouldn't censor things for because they're grown men, women, and they can pretty much make decisions for themselves. And even if they may be detrimental to them, they're an adult. They have the right to be a retard if they want, but they also have the right to want privacy if they want.
It also shouldn't be the government's responsibility nor the platform's responsibility to ensure that kids aren't making those accounts. It is the parents. Like, no matter how you spin it, it should always come back to the parents. And what YouTube did initially, and what I thought was the right direction, was having a separate platform specifically for that age group, YouTube Kids. So that way, that group, those kids, would not be going to main YouTube. They would be on that platform, which is safe for them. And the parents' responsibility would be ensuring that they are on YouTube Kids, not main YouTube.
Yeah, and that's the easiest thing ever, which is if you're going to make an application for kids and take all the risk associated with it, go ahead. But if you don't make an application for kids and expressly say it, why is it that you're forcing everyone else to basically be spoon-fed kid stuff and censorship just because you're punishing them for being probably good parents and actually putting their kids on the separate app you made for them, while the bad parents who don't know anything about technology want you to punish everybody else for the decisions they made and won't take accountability for because they never want to.
But now what's happening is every company is now putting in these age verification checks which require ID or biometric data, which, as we're seeing unfold in real time rapidly, leads to just basically control and mass surveillance. That's the entire underlying motive behind all of it. It's not about
And the worst part is they're not even doing it based off of the governments that are implemented in this world. They're doing it heavily based off of like what they want in general. Like the US, the way things should be structured online should be completely different to another country. But yet these people want to implement something that they put in Australia to us as well because they don't want to take the risk of someone in Australia basically not having kids content when they're supposed to, while someone in the US that has to basically suffer because even though there should be more leniency, they don't care Until the government punishes these people for doing acts like that, they will never ever like raise a finger to help us or do anything. Until the government basically says, "Hey, if you don't do this, we're gonna nuke your company off the goddamn planet, and you'll never be able to make a dollar ever again." These companies are gonna continue taking away our personal freedoms, and that's the main issue. And the problem is our government is slow, extremely slow, and extremely ineffective. And this is an extremely terrible situation. These companies can implement things fast, but the government is slow. Then once the government finally reaches a verdict, it's already 2 or 3 years too late. And a lot of people have been negatively affected by this stuff already.
Protecting kids. It's not about making sure kids aren't getting access to like dangerous social media, content or anything like that. It is all about getting more of your information so they can monitor you more effectively. It's not a conspiracy. It is just right in your face censorship, control, and mass surveillance. And YouTube now taking this step is extremely concerning. And obviously, as everyone's pointing out, it is not going to be 100% accurate. I would be shocked if it's even close to 50% accurate. Break this shit down.
I'd be shocked if it's even 10% accurate. Like, my guess is it's going to remove a bunch of accounts without really any sort of monitoring. And once they do, they won't really care if you're a accidental casualty in the implementation. As long as they don't accidentally take someone with a big enough platform and a big enough fan base that can argue against their thing, they probably will never bat an eye on the random people they take out just like that because of this implementation.
It's bare butt cheeks real quick. If it's going to be like making these guesses off of like the content you're watching or your searches, there is so much wiggle room for error. Because like, let's say you watch an anime, trailer or something. I imagine YouTube would probably put that into like a cartoon bin, which would then be falling under like a under 18 bin.
Yep.
Which would be a strike against you. What if you like misspell something in the searches? Like what if you accidentally make a typo? Does that make them think that you might be a kid as well?
And to be honest, everything Charlie says is true because they're being way too vague on what exactly this even is. So it gives too much room for us to say a bunch of stuff that even if it's not true, we don't know what is true. We don't know the way they're going to implement it. We don't know the rules, and they're just going to punish us for breaking the rules that they never even told us what they were in to begin with. This is like the equivalent of you playing chess on a chessboard, but being expected to know the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! And properly implementing it into chess pieces, even though you don't know what the fuck any of the squares mean.
Or what about something like autoplay? Like, let's say you put on like a real adult video. You look at fucking day trading tutorials, but it autoplays to something else, which is like
Pokemon.
making slime or some shit, because YouTube's recommended algorithm is fucking wild. Like, you could easily just be flagged as an under 18 account, and then, well, if you want to keep using your account and have access to all the content and features that you've been used to, gonna need to fork over that ID or at least show us your face. Give us some of that sweet, sweet biometric data currency, please. And I hope you'll say no. That is not something you should ever be comfortable with giving any company. It is a big problem.
Yep. Unless the company is specifically for the purpose of like helping your identity be safe by taking your identity and looking for every website that has it, I don't really see a really big reason for a lot of these places to have it. Like, I get it if it's a credit bureau because, your credit is tied to you. I get it if it's a bank because a bank is tied to you. But YouTube, I don't understand that. And as I said, if the company outside of really those main things doesn't have anything to do with protecting your identity and making sure that people aren't using your name to buy things that they shouldn't, I really don't see a big reason for half of these companies to even have as much authority over what you can and can't do.
And there needs to be something done about this. It is truly out of control now. And it's here coming to YouTube. So, yep, just another concerning Active censorship and surveillance here, and it's not just overseas anymore. That's really about it. See ya.
Yep.
Lock your doors and
Oops. Oops. But anyways, this is all terrible, so yeah. All we can really do is hope and wait that like we figure out a way to really stop all this stuff from being implemented, but that's pretty much all.